Dana.
Only one suspect in the brutal beating of the four NYPD officers last week is currently held on a $15,000 bail. Investigators say they're still trying to track down all those who took part in the attack. Some of the men were arrested and released with no bail, but officials say the worst offenders are still on the run. I want to bring in New York Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis. It's great to have you here, and New York City Council member Vicky Palladino, because this story is getting a lot of national attention. Do we know where these migrants are?
Well, basically, rumor has it, because they're free, they're out. No charges, no nothing, they're out. Try to find them, rumor has it, California. That's what they say. How did they get from New York to California? They are free to roam as they please. This is
How mad is the city council or not?
How mad is the city council? I don't think
the
city council's moved at all. Because had it not been covered in the news, and I'm sitting here before you today, they could care less.
So what we're learning, New York Post is report. We thought on Friday that a faith-based group, of which, so people who don't live in New York, just so you know, the faith-based groups they run the interface for all the migrants throughout the city, and they help them in all the different boroughs. We thought on Friday they were helped by a faith-based group to get on a bus. Apparently that's not the case. The Post is reporting that police have an idea of where the men are. I think here's the fundamental question. If you're a Democratic leader in the city of New York today, what do you want to do? Do you want to allow these men to go ahead and dissolve back into the border across into Mexico and the story's forgotten? Or do you want to arrest them, apprehend them, bring them back to New York City before a judge and get weeks of terrible publicity for awful policies?
Well, I know that New Yorkers want to see these individuals held accountable, and I think it goes back to the laws that Bill de Blasio passed in 2014 that prohibits NYPD from cooperating with Immigration and Customs Enforcement to have these individuals deported. Literally, a detainer request can be on any individual, including the one who committed murder, by the way, at the Roosevelt Migrant Center, and they will release that individual back onto the street if they're not going to jail. And instead of deporting that individual and working with ICE, they've actually denied every single detainer request. And we know that there are at least been 1,000 individuals at these migrant encampments that have committed crimes in the city, everything from assault to robbery to grand larceny to stabbing and a murder. And these cops weren't the first to be assaulted. People should know that there was a woman who slapped a police officer outside a shelter. There was also a DUI arrest of a migrant that ended up biting the finger of a NYPD sergeant. And these people are back on the street. I mean, somebody who pickpocketed 8 times arrested, released back onto the street to go to one of these luxury hotel rooms.
We saw the governor of New York on that subway car last week say, if you mess with our cops, you will pay the price. Will she follow up on her own words?
The one thing the governor of the state of New York has the ability to do is to actually fire people like Bragg, and she could do away with the law that was passed in 2017, 2014. This is all within her grasp. They're not doing anything. Ask yourself why. Why aren't they doing anything? I've held the governor of this state accountable for every single thing that's happened with the immigration and the illegal aliens flooding, invading our city since this started. Okay, and yet they all talk the talk. Nobody wants to actually do what needs to be done. And you brought up a good point. As a Democrat leader in a city and state such as New York, don't you want to actually do something so that there's finally a decent headline about you? No, they don't care. This is a whole new New Yorkers. Now, back in March of 22, that's how they were titling them, the new New Yorkers. So as 400,000 New Yorkers left the city of New York.
We got new ones.
We got new ones.
The other thing is, Congresswoman, that Mayor Adams has this new pilot program, right? $53 million that would go on cards, basically. This is the mayor. these would be debit cards. He says not only will this money provide families with the ability to purchase fresh food for their culturally relevant diets and the baby supplies of their choosing, but the pilot program is expected to save New York City more than $600,000 per month or more than $7.2 million annually. I mean, does he have a point? Is this a better way to try to deal with the situation?
We could actually save taxpayers billions of dollars if he just stops offering any of these free incentives. That's what's attracting people to come to New York City. So the president may have created this crisis with his executive orders, but our mayor and our governor keep helping it perpetuate it by offering all these things. And again, somebody gets arrested, they get released back onto the street, they go back to their luxury hotel room paid by the taxpayers, and then they're going to receive a debit card on top of it.
500 migrant families initially. If it's successful, they're going to get 150,000 migrants here. Quick thought on
Once
this.
again, $7.3 billion. We are over budget right now. $7.3 billion. How much more are we going to do of this, honestly? And with the city council that we have right now overriding anything that the mayor is trying to do to help protect our law enforcement is falling flat. We call upon the governor of the state of New York. I call upon my city council. It's time for real action and real common sense here, and we're not getting it.
Great to have you both here. The New York strong women. I love it. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.